Hello and welcome to another World Values Day live conversation. I'm Anna McAfee and I'm delighted to be chatting with Inês Medeiros. I hope I'm saying that correctly, Inês.
Yes, of course, perfect.
Inês is a psychologist, she's a human development consultant and a high leadership coach. She's a global partner and trainer for the Barrett Values Centre, but she's also acts as chair to the V20 this year in Brazil, which is a huge effort, huge achievement, and we'll be talking a little bit about the V20 and the G20 in this conversation. So thank you for joining us, Inês.
Thank you for the opportunity to be here, and how exciting to talk about V20 Brazil and the big summit that we're going to have here in November. Thank you for the opportunity.
Exciting, isn't it? So my first question for you, Inês, World Values Day is obviously coming up in, I think we're at the 4-week mark actually, as of today we're recording, coming up on the October 17th. But one thing I always love to ask our guests is, could you share one of your values with us and how you put that value into action in your life?
Of course, with pleasure. And by the way, huge fan of World Values Day, working with you for a long time and hope to work for longer time. One of the values, future generations. And that's maybe one of the reasons why I accepted this honor to be the chair of V20 Brazil this year. But if what I do today, the actions I do today are connected to what I'm bringing to the next generation, for sure I will be there. Even if it's tough, even if it's unusual, I'm always in when what we are doing today is connected to bringing a better world for the others that are coming next.
That's beautiful. It's a great value. And not one I've heard before. So
really?
No.
For me, year in, year out, this is one that I always look when I do the Barrett assessment. I said, oh, I need to put it inside. For me, it's really important.
Well, it's not one that's come up in these interviews yet anyway, so I love that.
Wonderful.
Based on the work that you've done, how can we ensure that values are not just theoretical, but they're sort of reflected in daily practices and behaviours? It's all very good we say, oh, this is my value, but how do we ensure that they're actually being put into practice through, behaviours and through the work that we do?
Well, this is part of what I'm dedicating my days and life in the corporations and the organizations where I work. And that's why maybe my company is called Values Move, because if it's a value, there is a path. What am I trying to say with this? If it's really a value, you can show it by your behavior. You can show it by your actions. You can show examples of how this value is being like a, how do we say it in English? Sorry, this is the way of talking in Portuguese, like a division in a decision making. So how can we turn values into actions? Realizing this decision that I'm making is based on future generation, yes or no? Should I go ahead? Another value that is very dear to me, family. Whatever I think, is this good for my family? And when I talk about family, in my specific case, not only the blood family, but the friends, the people that I had the pleasure and generosity to meet along my existence here in life. Is this aligned with what I believe that is being together in a good way? Then I decide. So behaviors, they reflect how much this value is true. And it's really a value in our lives. So in corporations, in individuals, in teams, if there is a value, surely there is a way of solving conflicts.
That's great. That's really good. When we were discussing this conversation that we were going to have and what it would be called, collaboration was something that just kept coming up and again. And obviously we called this conversation Values, Visions, the Collaborative Advantage. Can you talk about collaboration and how it's served you well throughout your career? And it's obviously a core value of yours as well.
Yeah. That's why when you asked me the value, I said collaboration, it will be one of them. I said, no, I'm not going to talk about this because this is the one that we have also as a motto, and not for a coincidence. This was what we chose as Team Brazil to be the motto for V20 2024. Collaboration, Everybody talks about the need of collaboration, but so tough to put it in action, as you said. What a collaboration has been present in my life? What we are doing today here, it's a way of showing collaboration. World Values Day, V20, our connection between the same purpose in different modes of happening. So collaboration has been crucial and fundamental when I think who would be the person that could do this better than me in order for us to achieve a common goal. What can I learn from other people that can turn myself into the person that I want to be? How can I contribute to a major number of people, bringing people that are aligned with what we value, and maybe people that are not so aligned, but that I can have empathy in order for us to do something together. So collaboration for me, it's that very thin line where you say maybe we are different and surely we are different, but how can we put our own talents in a road that everybody wins at the end? And collaboration for me, and that's why we included this motto in the V20 this year, is the advantage, not competition, but collaboration as the advantage in order to go further, to go easier, to be in a more happier way to finish our mission day in, day out. I don't know if this answered your question, but this what comes to my mind in a very informal way.
No, it does. It does. And my next question was really about that whole concept of, I guess in business, we talk a lot about competitive advantage, and you just mentioned it there. It's something that's taught in business schools. It's something that's, widely shared on social media. People talk about competitive advantage. But you talk about, and you mentioned it then, collaborative advantage. Can you maybe just go a bit more, explain the difference between those two, and actually kind of how that, I love that perspective. It's something I've just never heard before, and it's a really beautiful way of looking at things. So if you could share just a little bit more about that, I'd love that.
Sure. What the perspective we are trying to bring here is, as humans, we evolve not about competing with each other, but because in a certain time in history, or in several times in history, we decided that we would be better together than alone. This is collaboration as an advantage. In companies, when someone decides that instead of working alone, it's better to work in a team, you are saying collaboration is better than competition. So we have several examples day in, day out that show us that collaboration is a way of evolution. However, there is a tricky point where we say collaboration between the ones that are closer, but we need to compete with the others. And what we are bringing with this motto is about the others today, with the high speed of communication, with the involvement, and COVID showed us that without collaboration, it would be really tough to go over a major threat. Without collaboration, we couldn't go further. So it's funny because in our lives, we take lots of decisions based on collaboration, but the motto in business school is compete in order to have the advantage. But if you look to human history and the story of evolution all over the time, and if you look to nature, that for me, especially, I found it like the biggest amount of wisdom that we have available. It's an organization huge that covers all the planet, and for billions of years is doing the stuff. It's giving profitability and productivity. The way of evolution of our planet, it's not based on competition. Competition is a tiny part. But at the end of the day, if you go to Amazonia, for instance, all the plants, all the living life forms, they know that they have a place. They don't compete. Another example that has been studied in biomimicry, the ants. Nobody knows until today how they know what to do, but they do it in a collaborative way. And that's why they get results. And I say, the biggest companies, the most sustainable ones, are they competing with each other, reinforcing competition between people, or are they finding ways of collaborating in order to get the best results? So maybe collaborative advantage for us, Team Brazil, and living in Brazil, where we have a so such a diversity in the society. If we don't collaborate, surely we won't survive. We won't survive. So this was what came to us as important to share with others in order to take a look. Really, it's competition that is moving forward, or is it collaboration? When we find ways to have a common goal to go forward. Does it make sense to you?
It does. It makes a lot of sense. And I love that. I love that you brought in Brazil there, because I think so much of I'm in Australia, but and biodiversity here is a huge part of our the way we live, because of the geography in which we live.
The geography.
Brazil is similar. So I love that you mentioned that.
The territory influences. I was born in Portugal. I'm in Brazil for almost 13 years by now, and the strength of nature here, it's much stronger. So when you look at what nature is capable to do, you say, whoa, if they are doing it, and are they competing, or are they finding ways of collaborating in order to go forward? So this is part of the inspirations we have in order to bring this new motto, to bring this new mindset. How about if collaboration is the next advantage, not only competition?
I love that. That's really good.
Oh, wonderful. One more.
Let's talk about the V20.
Whoa, great.
Can you, and I know this is, the V20 has been involved with World Values Day for a number of years now.
Yes.
And well, probably more vice versa. But can you tell us what the V20 is?
Okay.
And how it kind of came to exist? What are its goals? What is the V20 for somebody who's watching who's never heard of the V20?
Sure.
Yeah, can you just give us some background on it, please?
Well, V20 started in Saudi Arabia. V20 is a group, an engagement group of the G20. G20 is the summit that happens each year in a different country, where the 20 biggest economies of the world, they reunite and they say, what can we do in a better way together in order to promote evolution and sustainability, we would say, for all of us. And this started with Dima Al-Sheikh into 2020. She said, well, there are several engagement groups. Engagement group is a group of people that has a theme that believes that would be useful to bring to the decision makers to the G20 summit. And there is engagement groups connected to business, engagement groups connected to civil rights. But until 2020, no engagement group connected to how values can be a way of supporting the leaders, the biggest leaders of the world, in order to do public policies that are based, their decision making is based on values. And this was the nest of V20. How can we propose, as a global team of experts in values and other expertise, what can we propose to G20 in order that the decision making that they do is based on values? And this started in Saudi Arabia with Dima Al-Sheikh, then afterwards with our dearest friends in Italy, Marisa and Stefano, afterwards Indonesia with Mikey and Dr. Rosanna and Eli. Afterwards, the last team was in India, Mr. Shiv Genka with T-Health, and now for the fifth year is in Brazil, and we have the honor here with a very multidisciplinary and diverse team to make a call to action. And this is what we do all years. We decide the motto this year: values as a collaborative advantage, and we make a call to action to everybody, and you are invited, all of you that are seeing this interview, to say, what would you like to propose? What do you feel that would be interesting to propose to G20 that shows that if values are at the center, they surely can bring awareness and better decision making in public policies to the G20. And this is the work we do each year in different countries, bringing the wisdom of each local community, but also the global wisdom that comes from all over the place. This year we had more than 78 people in the inception day, where we made the call to action. And afterwards, several authors from different parts of the world making their own contributions as volunteers about what should we bring to G20 that could support them in order to make the best decisions for the world. So this is what we do each year. Our goals, as you say, to have the biggest amount of people taking a look, a more deeper look about the importance of values, seeing how values can be practical ways of living our lives, showing that values, if they are in the public policies that are defined, we can have, I believe, a better future, a better world, and bringing as much diversity of opinions. And now that we are for the second of 3 years, the G20 is based on the Global South. First India, now Brazil, and next year it will be in South Africa. So we have a huge opportunity to rebalance this decision-making and including new voices in this decision-making for the world. Please tell me if this rings a bell or if there's something that you would like me to go. I'm talking from the heart.
It's great because I think as my experience with the V20 is, yes, understanding that it does move every year, the chairing.
Yes, the year moves with the G20, but the core is always the same. How can values can influence in the decision of the public policies that can support all over people all over the world? So I believe it's very connected with World Values Day also, but our intention is to do a journey. We move the country, but our aims are very similar from year to year. We change the motto, but always values as a base, a fundament for our decision making.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you. And obviously, you're the chair in Brazil this year.
Yeah.
Can you tell us a bit about that experience, what that's been like, what you've learned?
What I've learned, I'm learning each day. First, it was an honor, and it is really scary. I remember that one of the things that made me accept this huge honor was when I had the invitation from the founding group. I said, "Oh my God, I don't know if we are prepared in Values Move to do this. This is so huge. It's such an opportunity." And then the question came. There is going to be G20 in Brazil for 20 years by now. Are you going to wait 20 years in order to feel prepared? And I said, yep. There's where the values of future generation came and the collaboration. I said, okay, let's do it, but not alone. I need lots of people in order to put this in action if we are going to expand this values theme. So being a chair this year, first, a huge honor, responsibility, an opportunity to talk with people from all over the world, literally increasing my empathy and closeness to other cultural contexts. We have people from Saudi Arabia, Middle East, African countries, North America, Latin America. So an opportunity to listen other approaches about themes that in Brazil, I listen in a different way. So for this, a lifelong learning in 1 year. Opportunity to do things like what we are doing today, to connect, to make bridges between different initiatives that make sense together. So working in togetherness and how can we go further using our talents. Being very patient and comfortable with uncertainty. If you want to test your comfort with uncertainty, please be a share of V20 or other global group like World Values Day, because at the same time that you really want to achieve a very high number of people and goals, you are depending, and this is very beautiful, and at the same time very, very, very different from the corporate world. All the people that are involved in V20, and I believe in World Values Day also, are volunteers. So when you ask me, what is a way of living your values? Make part of a global group with volunteers from different approaches and see what happens. Then generosity, empathy, true purpose comes around. So for me, it has been a year of living what I believe that is an advantage for the future and for today. I know this is the major ideas that come to me, and of course, reading all the articles, the chapters that generously our authors brought us. And in a short time, the V20 Summit is going to be in November when we publish the communique. I hope that lots of people read the chapters that were delivered. There are lots of good ideas, good case studies about how values are changing the world today and can change the world of a biggest amount of people if G20 listens to what we are bringing.
That's great. Well, thank you for volunteering to do it. It's wonderful to have people put their hand up.
I'm not alone. I'm not alone. I can tell you that the core team in the Brazil team is more than 30 people from different countries, and we have the huge support of the founding group and angels. When I call angels is because the only intention is to work for the common good. People from all over, companies or NGOs and small business are coming and saying, how can I support? And this is beautiful to see because we are living what we believe.
Mm-hmm. You touched on something there I wanted to probably just for those that aren't familiar with the V20, you mentioned the communique and the authors.
Mm-hmm.
So the authors write papers that go into the communique. Can you talk about? And they come from outside of Brazil. They're from all over the world. So if someone's listening and wants to know more,
this is like this. What is our output? The engagement group like V20 to deliver a document, a written document called communique with recommendations for the G20 leaders to make policy decision making. So first of all, the first step is to make a decision with the founding group about what will be the motto and the task forces. We have 4 task forces this year. If you want, I can go deeper on this. And when we present the task forces in the inception meeting, the one this year was in March, we invite all over the world for all our community. By now we have 600 people approximately from all over places of the world that are inside the V20 community. And please, everyone that is seeing this interview, you are most welcome to come to our group in social media and subscribe there. We invite these people and we say, well, the motto for this year is values as collaborative advantage. The task forces, the major themes we would like to bring awareness to G20 are these. And we invite you to write chapters promoting what could be the public policies that could reinforce and support G20 in order to make decisions based on values. And then the journey starts, and people from all over the world, they submit their abstracts. There is task force leaders and the revision team that looks to these chapters, makes suggestions, and we go over and over and over until we have the final communique. That is what we are going to deliver to G20 now at this time and celebrate in the V20 Summer Summit here in November 14 in Rio de Janeiro. That is the final document, official document, with contributions from volunteers from all over the world about if G20 takes decisions based on values, what would they be and with what impact? So this is the communique that we deliver officially, but around that is a huge amount of people, volunteers from all over the world, submitting their ideas, submitting their case studies in order to influence the decision makers to take public policies, supporting what we feel that could be a better world for all of us, and using the motto of the Brazilian presidency, building a more just and sustainable world.
That's great. And I just wanted to clarify that because I think, anybody who is watching this who wants to contribute perhaps next year, but it's the understanding of what the communique is and the contribution
and the flow
that goes into that. So I think that's super important. So thank you for explaining that. So Inês, what's next for the V20 and the G20, and how will this collaboration continue to let values shine?
Okay, as I said, by now at this moment, what we are doing local events, free access that are called the Road to Brazil events. Each team that previously hosted V20 in their countries are delivering events connected to the motto of this year, values as a collaborative advantage, and inviting people locally to talk about the 4 task forces that we chose this year. And let me tell you, the task forces are wisdom, nature, and ecological transition. What can we do in terms of values about this? Evolutionary education, a concept that is very dear to us here in Values Move, and we develop with corporations about education not being only the passage of learning, but education that contributes to a better society and all life forms to evolve. Inclusive leadership, and last but never the least, AI and digital ethics. So we had an event in India last month. We had an event in Saudi 2 weeks ago. This is all in the V20 group in streaming if you want to see it, the content. We are going to have an event on Italy in the 4th of October, and the last one before Brazil, it will be in Indonesia. Sorry, first it will be in Indonesia, and the last one will be in Italy, Europe. And afterwards, we are going to meet in person with a group of experts, personalities, governors, decision makers, company directors here in Brazil, in Rio, in the 14th of November, in order to share our content that we deliver to the G20, and also have deep reflections and sharing of actions based on values all over the world. So the next step is doing local events, V20 Summit, and then let's go to South Africa, see what we can do more about talking and acting aligned with our values.
Yes, South Africa's the chair next year, aren't they? So
yes.
So they're getting ready for all the things that you've been through, which is
Yes. We are now in the pass the button to South Africa. We hope to have the next share, the next team here with us in Brazil. It will be a huge celebration to pass what we learned this year, as you said, to the next team and go with them. This is something that also it's very important to reinforce. The actual team of V20 Brazil as members from all the other teams of the previous years, and the local events we are doing now, they are being done with the support of the previous team. So again, we are not talking as collaborative advantage as an idea. We are living values as a collaborative advantage in order to expand and bring more people to this community.
That's wonderful. Inês, is there anything, I'm done with my questions, but is there anything else you'd like to add to the conversation that you think is an important thing for people to consider?
I believe that one of the major things that is important to bring here is how much the effort that since the first beginning 5 years ago, the founding group and all the people from the community of V20 are doing is showing that values are decision-making day-to-day life. Saying this is not about only talking, it's not about a philosophy, it's not an utopia. It's choosing each day in each action, who do you want to be today and what do you want to promote? So being part of a community like V20, it's being aligned with your values, discover new approaches, learning with each other. So everybody that is most welcome to stay with us, to be with us, to share ideas. And I truly believe that organizations like World Values Day, where I have the opportunity to collaborate, are totally essential for the expressions of values as center of our lives. So please continue your work, call us, let's work together, because values is something that brings us energy, even in tough times. And I truly believe that with the lots of conflicts that we are having all over the years, and in this present moment, talking about values could be a step, a step forward in order to make effective decisions that bring happiness and fulfillment to the biggest amount of people.
That's a beautiful thing to end on. Thank you, Inês. Thank you for your time today. I know it's at the end of the day for you. Thank you for your time, and it's really wonderful to hear your perspective and all of this. I will just bring up a quick, from Maria. That was a beautiful comment.
Wonderful. Thank you, Maria. Thank you, Maria. Congratulations to all of us,
Yes. So,
and I would like to make a final statement that I believe that is important. Don't miss World Values Day. This is a day, it's like having Christmas, not in Christmas. It's a day where we see everybody all over the world sharing values, sharing actions. Is always so exciting. So thank you, Organization of World Values Day, for putting this huge community into action. And I hope that we can celebrate this Christmas out of time with World Values Day with the biggest amount of people. Wonderful to be here with you. And I will be with you at the 17th of October celebrating World Values Day. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Inês. Thank you for everybody who has watched the conversation, who's joined us either live or on the replay. We appreciate your time and we look forward to your Values Day. Thanks, Inês.
Okay.
Thanks, everyone.
See you soon. Bye-bye. See you
Bye-bye.
soon. Waiting for you in Brazil. Come. You're most welcome.